A god amongst men and feared by all, the Doomslayer. A man too angry to die and the best demon killer around. The Doom Guy's story begins on Mars, at a research base where the UAC was conducting tests with portals before they accidentally opened the portal to hell itself. After hordes and hordes of demons came through the portal, Doom Guy eventually returned to Earth. However, he saw that his pet bunny Daisy was killed by the demons, and after that day, he would never forgive the demons. The Doom Guy would soon go on to defend several more attacks from the demons on Earth, before he eventually got really tired and decided to retire. And by that I mean he threw himself into hell itself. He then got picked up by the Night Sentinels, who recruited the Doom Guy into their battle against the demons, and he became the best warrior out of all of them. He was even given godlike power by the Seraphim to make killing the demons all the more effortless. And with how popular the Doom series has become over the past few years, I think it's pretty safe to say that it's iconic enough to be featured in Smash Bros. Just to start off, the Doomslayer would have a weight of 114, making it into the super heavyweight class of characters. But, just because he is heavy does not mean he's slow, as in the Doom games, the only two rules are shoot and never stop moving. The Doomslayer is very fast, having a run speed of 2.1, just barely below Ridley, an airspeed of 117, the same of the Sword Fighter, and a walk speed of 1.365, identical to Little Mac. However, he does fall quite fast with a falling speed of 1.8, identical to Mega Man. The Slayer has 2 jumps, and he would be able to crawl, wall jump, and even wall cling. He was able to crouch and crawl in Doom 2016, but ever since they removed that in Doom Eternal, they gave him the new ability to climb walls and jump from them. Also, before we get into the regular attacks, I do have a gimmick that I'm going to give the Slayer. It is a pretty big part of his moveset, so I'll go over that right now. So the gimmick that I'm going to give the Doomslayer is that he has an ammo meter above his icon, which caps out at 100 rounds. Using any attack that has the Slayer shoot a firearm consumes the ammo, and attacking with melee attacks refills the ammo. Think of this like Hero's MP gauge, however it does not fill up over time. What, you think you'll be rewarded for standing around and running away? Nah, you have to fight for the right to use your guns. This encourages the player to be as aggressive as possible as the Slayer. This is mostly here to mimic the gameplay of Doom itself. Kill as many demons as possible, while using your resources and ammo as effectively as possible. Now this is where the fun begins. The Doomslayer has a one-hit jab that is a single punch forward with his forward arm. This is just a reference to his normal jab in Doom Eternal. However, using throws will fill up a meter that when full will cause the hits to explode just like the blood punch did in Doom Eternal. However, because this is Nintendo, it will only be a burst of red energy and confetti. The move is quite spammable, and you only need 2 throws to fill up the blood punch meter, just like in Doom Eternal. The dash attack is a quick shoulder dash forward, mimicking Ganondorf or Captain Falcon. This move is very fast, and goes further than both of them, and there's very little lag to it, representing the dash move the Slayer got in Doom Eternal. Also, if you press the button again, you can do a weaker dash, just like you have 2 dashes in Doom Eternal. The side tilt will have the Slayer pull out the Doom Blade from his left arm and slash the cross from him 2 times, similar to our glory kill where he slashes the demon into 3 pieces. For the Slayer's up tilt, he first will stab his Doom Blade out forward and then raise it high above his head, similar to another glory kill where he just slashed the demon straight in half. The Slayer's down tilt is a simple stomp forward with his boot. This reference to a lot of glory kills, but this one specifically comes from the ones where he steps on the demon's head. I mentioned that melee attacks will give the Slayer some ammo when he needs it, and for all the smash attacks, he will use the Pain Saw. In the modern Doom games, the chainsaw is used to get ammo from weaker enemies, and this is what it's going to do in Super Smash Bros. As well. For the forward smash, he charges up the chainsaw and then swings it across the body, dealing multi-hitting damage. This move absolutely shreds through shields, and it gives a lot of ammo. Of course this move still will launch, but it's mostly the damage one uses for. Also, when charging up the chainsaw, you can actually have a small hitbox where the chainsaw is to deal some small flinching damage, similar to core and side smash. For the up smash, the Doomslayer will duck down and then take the chainsaw high above his head, hitting anyone right in front of him or directly above him. The same rules apply to the side smash, dealing a lot of damage, shredding through shields, and filling up maybe about 70% of your ammo. Also, I just want to take a minute to apologize for the horrible visuals you see on the screen. These were really dumb to make, but I mean, I didn't really know what else to do. Anyway, for the down smash, he'll just charge up the chainsaw and put it down right in front of him before swinging it around behind him to hit anyone behind him. With the multi-hitting damage of this move, it can actually drag opponents behind the Slayer to launch behind them. Also, because of how low it is, it can make for an excellent shield breaker. And getting into the aerials, for the neutral layer, it will just be a strong knee jab forward. The knee is where the move is strongest, but his entire body turns into a hitbox. It will linger for a moment and then get weaker over time. For the Slayer's forward air, he will do a simple high to low punch with his fist, which can spike at the end of the move. This is actually a reference to a specific glory kill in Doom Eternal, where he just kind of bonks the demon's head into his torso, which is pretty funny actually. For the Slayer's back air, he will do a strong roundhouse kick behind him, which will turn his upper arms into hitboxes, but the strongest will be his legs swinging around. For the Doomslayer's up air, he will get his Doomblade and stab it straight above him. This is another reference to a glory kill, this time on a paint elemental, where he puts his hand inside of his mouth and stabs out his eye. I really like this glory kill, I think it's pretty damn cool. And the down air is a strong one-footed stomp that can spike at the start of the move. This move is pretty strong, similar to Ganondorf's down air. This move specifically comes from a few Berserker kills. Berserk packs are something that can be found within Doom Eternal, and they greatly increase your strength, and some will just allow you to stomp an enemy's head into pulp. All of these throws will reference Glory Kill throughout the Doom game. These throws don't launch very far, but they do deal a lot of damage. The Slayer will grab with one arm and then pummel with the other, punching them right in the facial area. For the forward throw, he'll just punch the opponent in the face before kicking them outwards. This move gives a little bit of ammo, but also dealing some big damage. The Slayer will also do this for his back throw, but it's just a slightly different variation. For the up throw, the Slayer will just trip the opponent off their feet, to which then he will grab them and then shatter their back over his knee. After being dealt big damage, the opponent will just get launched up into the air. For the down throw, this one is going to be the strongest in terms of ammo and damage. The Slayer will just throw the opponent over to the ground, and then quickly run up to them, to which then he will step on their face, which will bury them and deal huge damage. Now it's the moment everybody's been waiting for. I mentioned an ammo gimmick, and for all of the specials, he'll use his guns. If you're familiar with Doom, you probably know that you have a wide variety of weapons to choose from. And in the modern Doom games, you can use a weapon wheel to pick your weapons. And this is what I'm going to be using for his neutral special. Holding down the special button will allow a small menu to come up, similar to Shulk's Monado art. You can pick a wide variety of weapons to choose from, and once you select one, the Doomslayer will hold it in his hand. He won't be able to use his grabs, tilts, or aerials, but his dash attack, air dodge, sidestep, normal dodge, and jab will also be available to him. Also, he can't pick up items, but he can still grab onto ledges. Once you pick out a weapon, you can use the side special to shoot the weapon. But there is a bit of catch here. If you know the modern Doom games, you can add mods on your weapon to change how they function. So every weapon you can choose from will have 2 mods, except for the last one, for obvious reasons. I'll get into the weapons right now. Also, there is a very important rule to know when using this weapon. You cannot look up or down. In the classic Doom games, you couldn't look up or down, so just for Smash, he won't be able to angle his moves. He can still jump and stuff, but he won't be able to angle any moves. There will be a few moves that home in on opponents, like as you see the rocket launcher doing, But you know, other than that, he won't be able to like tilt his moves. So, for the first weapon, he has the combat shotgun from Doom Eternal. Using the side special normally, as in tapping it will have him shoot forward. However, holding it down will shoot out a sticky grenade that can stick to ledges and opponents. Think of this kinda like Mega Man's side special, except it's affected by gravity. Each shot from the shotgun will consume a little bit of ammo, however, the sticky grenade will consume a lot more. If you hold down the neutral special again, you'll put away the gun so you can grab a new one. But if you tap it, you'll change the mod, to which the combat shotgun will turn into an auto-fire shotgun, which will repeatedly shoot forward, but will also use a lot more ammo. The second weapon is the heavy cannon from Doom Eternal. Imagine a sniper rifle, rocket launcher, and machine gun all mixed together. This would be the result. Repeatedly tapping side special will allow him to shoot 3 bullets at a time. But holding it down will actually shoot out some mini rockets that will stick to opponents for a slight moment and then explode. Remember that homing effect I mentioned a minute ago? Yeah, this would have a slight homing effect on any opponent. The next weapon mod for the heavy cannon would be the sniper rifle, which you can zoom in and do a piercing shot, which will travel a lot farther than normal shots and deal a lot more damage, while also piercing through enemies. You could hit a lot of people with only one shot, however it does use a lot more ammo, and there is a lot of lag to it. For the next weapon, we have the chain gun. This will use up a lot of ammo, and you have to mash the button to use it. If you hold it down, it will activate the turret mode, which will shred through your ammo and opponents. This will use up a lot more ammo, and there's a 3-second cooldown before it overheats, and you'll have to stop for a minute. Also, it's really worth noting that the chain gun won't flinch. It will only have a wind box that will knock opponents away from it, but the turret mode will flinch on the account that it doesn't last long. Pressing the neutral special again will activate the shields mod. It's a small shield that appears in front of the chain gun, which will protect the Doomslayer from oncoming attack. It won't protect the back of him, but after it takes enough damage, it will be launched off as a projectile. You can still shoot normally, and holding down the button will activate the shield. We have the plasma rifle. Repeatedly tapping side special will shoot forward, and after it shoots enough, my cat just sneezed in the background. Anyway, repeatedly tapping side special will shoot forward, however after you shoot enough, it will actually heat up, which you can hold down the button to unleash the heat blast, which is a large concussion blast in front of the Slayer that will launch opponents. Also, it's just worth noting that the heat blast will not consume any ammo. And for the second mod, you have the stun bomb. Unfortunately, there wasn't any good footage of this, so you're just gonna trust me on this one. It does exist. With the second mod, if you hold down the special button, you'll shoot out a small bomb that's affected by gravity. You can pick it up if you're quick enough and it can be deflected. However, if it hits the ground or directly against an opponent, it will stun them for a quick second. There is an area of effect around it, so if you're further away from where it landed, you will be affected for a short amount of time, and depending on how much damage you have, it will affect how long you're stunned for. The Slayer should be aware of anyone who deflects projectiles a lot. The next weapon is actually a mix of 2 weapons, the Ballista from Doom Eternal and the Gauss Cannon from Doom 2016. These both function very similar, but they do have unique mods. Tapping side special will shoot out a beam that is slightly affected by gravity, and it will launch the player back a slight distance, especially if they're in the air. And if you hold it down, you'll activate the Arrow Blast mod, which after a second charge up, it will shoot out an arrow that will stick to walls for opponents and will detonate after a second or two. This weapon deals double damage if it's hit in the air, and it will consume a little bit more ammo than usual. Now, for the second mod, you'll activate the Gauss Cannon Siege mode. Now, this one is very strong, however it does use up a lot of ammo. You can still shoot normally, but after you use the mod, you'll actually be stopped in place for a second, charging up, and when you let go, you'll shoot out a powerful beam that can pierce through opponents and will go a very far distance. Just to put this into perspective of how far this would go, you should go just as far as Byleth's Fail Not, which is already pretty far. Again, you are stuck in place when using this move, and you won't be able to cancel it, so you'll have to be committed. And for the last gun on the weapon wheel, we have the Rocket Launcher. Tap Inside Special will just shoot out a simple rocket that will explode by itself if it doesn't hit a wall or an opponent, but holding it down will actually remotely detonate it. You do have to be careful with this mod, as you can detonate the rocket right as you launch it, which will hurt the Slayer. And then for the final mod, we have the Lock-On mod. Using this, when holding it down, will lock onto the nearest opponent and will shoot 3 rockets. It will use up 3 times more of ammo, and the rockets will have a strong homing effect, and it won't stop until 5 seconds or until the rockets hit the opponent. But there is still one weapon left on the weapon wheel, the Crucible from Doom Eternal. In Doom Eternal, the Crucible was a one-hit kill super sword made out of Argent Energy. Just to put that into perspective, 1 drop of Argent Energy can power a nuclear reactor for several days, so you can imagine an entire sword would be extremely powerful, and it is. The sword does make the Slayer a little bit more lighter, and you can only use it 3 times. But with every use, every time he hits an opponent, he can instantly break their shield, and it will deal an absurd amount of damage normally. Again, you can only use this 3 times per stock before it runs out of energy, so use it very wisely. The Crucible also does not consume normal ammo, but it will give a lot of it if you do manage to hit it. It does have a lot of end lag and start lag, but if you hit it, it will deal a lot of damage to rip and tear to the opponent. The Crucible also doesn't have any weapon moves, it's only a swing forward. One final thing to note is that when you use a weapon, it will stick with that mod until you use it again. There will also be a small icon near the Slayer's icon that will show which weapon mod you currently have attached. So you do have to remember which weapon you've used. Oh boy, we're finally done with the first 2 specials. Don't worry though, these next 2 won't be as intricate. For the up special, we have the Super Shotgun. Now this is gonna seem a little weird, but tapping the up special will just have him shoot the Super Shotgun straight upwards. This seems like a really weird move, but it does do a lot of damage. That's all it's gonna do if you tap the button. If you hold it down, you'll activate the meat hook on the shotgun, which will pull the Slayer towards ledges and opponents it hits. And if you tap the button again, you can shoot again, which will deal an absurd amount of damage to the opponent you hit or the ledge, which won't really do much. So you can probably guess what this is. It's just a tether move. But if you attach to opponent and then shoot off, you'll be able to still move. You won't be able to use up special again until you touch the stage or grab a ledge, but you can use other moves after you use the meat hook. And for the down special, you'll use the equipment launcher, which depending on how long you hold down the button, will shoot out a different projectile. Quickly tapping the button will use up 3 ammo rounds and will shoot out a normal frag grenade, and holding it out for a little longer will shoot out an ice bomb, which can freeze opponents if they're at a higher percent. And for the last one, it's the Flame Belch, a small flamethrower that's attached to the Slayer's shoulder. This costs 6 ammo rounds instead of the normal 3, but it will do constant damage to opponents as long as they're lit on fire. Also, the flamethrower will launch opponents back slightly, but it's probably not going to kill them. It's only used to deal constant damage. So just to conclude, the Slayer has a lot of versatility, however he constantly needs to deal melee attacks to keep the ammo as high as possible. He also needs to be as aggressive as possible, as he can deal as much damage as possible. Overall, if you can combine all these elements together, your opponents are as good as doomed. I don't really think I need to explain this one.
You can't just shoot a hole into the surface of Mars.
Wanna bet, Dr. Hayden?
The pod is set to self-destruct. We should move ahead.
Danger. All personnel evacuate to Mars surface. The Slayer has control.
Every Doom fan ever saw this one coming. For the Slayer's final smash, he'll use the big fucking gun. No, I'm actually serious. That's what the gun is called. Anyway, it's only fitting that the biggest, baddest gun in gaming history is used in Doom. The Doomslayer will shoot out a huge projectile out towards the screen that can catch up to 3 opponents into a cinematic final smash. When the final smash starts, the 3 opponents will be launched up into space, to which the Doomslayer will shoot them with another powerful weapon in Doom known as the Unmaker. And after they bounce around from the projectiles long enough, the Doomslayer will hop into the BFG 10,000. This is an extremely powerful turret constructed by Dr. Samuel Hayden. And then, after all the Unmaker shots have disappeared, the Slayer takes aim and fires the 10,000 at the opponent while also destroying the surface of Mars. This move deals a lot of damage, and if your percent goes over 150%, you will be instantly KO'd. I choose 150% because this move doesn't actually launch that far, it just deals a lot of damage. Possibly the most damage in the game. And you're gonna ask why Sephiroth's Final Smash doesn't do more damage because he destroys more of the solar system? Well, that's just an illusion, but this is very real. For the Slayer's entrance animation, he will walk through a big blue portal created by his AI assistant, Vega. For the Slayer's taunts, the first one is just called Let's Do This, with an intro animation in Doom Eternal's battle mode. The next taunt is just called Slow Nod, with another intro animation in Doom Eternal. And for the last one, the Slayer will just stand still and crack his knuckles, in a reference to the Doom 2016 opening. And for the alternate costumes, we have the standard alt from Doom Eternal, the Crimson armor, also from Doom Eternal, the Astral armor, the Midnight armor, the Golden armor, the Bronze armor, the Preacher suit from Doom 2016, and of course it would be a crime not to include the classic Doom armor. And for victory animations, the first will have the Slayer raise the super shotgun over his head victoriously. The next could have the Slayer reach an exit door styled like the original Doom games, and then press a button before the door closes. And for the final one, he could shoot the BFG up in the air like a firework before holding it over his shoulder just like in a Doom comic. And then a portal would open up behind him and he walks away. And that does it for my moveset on Doomslayer and Smash Bros. Doom is a series I've really gotten into recently, and I would love to see this player in Smash. The chances are slim, I think, but I really hope he gets it. I think he would be a really fun character. They probably won't make him exactly like I imagine him, but that's fine by me. If they can make him in a really unique way, then I'll accept them. I'm really excited to see what other characters join Smash Bros. And if you guys want more videos like this, then hit the like button, subscribe, maybe I'll make another one of this if you guys request something. Anyway, that's enough for me. Thank you guys for watching. See you later.